week 6. Now, what this means is that hi, and welcome to week 6. We just finished up week 5, and we're going to be heading into, of course, the midterm, right? This week, you have no assignments that are due. You can use the time to work on your midterm. Of course, you can also use the time to catch up with any of the late work that you may have, postings and such. Remember, a couple of you have commented because you would like to get a perfect 100 score, and I think that's a good goal to set. And it is achievable. But remember, you get up to 50 points for your posting, and then you get up to 50 points for your response to your peer. So you can get those two together are what creates that 100, which is that magical number everyone wants. So that's just some housekeeping. Also, general housekeeping, the midterm is open until the 21st at midnight. I recommend you take it as soon as possible. You can use your notes. You may also use your books. You cannot use any access to the internet or anything in the classroom as far as discussion postings, etc. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about modernism. Now, F. Scott Fitzgerald is probably one of our more popular authors. He wrote a number of short stories, and he recently experienced a nice shot in the arm with Baz Luhrmann's The Great Gatsby. So I know that some of you are very familiar with him. In fact, he was also stationed in Montgomery, Alabama, which is one of Troy's campuses, where he met the lovely Zelda. So I think for the most part that in your postings you have engaged some of those things that make, those elements that make Fitzgerald such one of our key short fiction writers. I like that there's some good kind of give and take in these postings. I do want to see, for instance, in Dina's, she mentioned that Fitzgerald attended Harvard, was from Minnesota, and a fiction writer. I would like to see where you got that information from. So I would recommend let's start citing in our sources. I know that some of you are doing that already, but let's just really start to make that a practice that we want to use. I've been trying to provide some very basic but good observations so that'll help you. You know, the idea that modern is not about contemporary. It's a group of characteristics. There's a sense of imagination. We create the world in the act of perceiving it. There's also an implication of historical discontinuity, alienation, loss, or despair. It's mythopoetic. It's realist and naturalism in a sense, but it's reacting against those. There's a hint of existentialism and, of course, form, symbol, and myth. Like I said, I enjoy that for the most part, as I was going through here earlier this week, I'm seeing a lot of back and forth and give and take in your discussion postings. I'm not going to go through all of them this time because I do think we want to pick and choose the ones we go through. I do want to target this presentation for about 10 minutes. I think the 20 minutes might be a little long. Kristen, once again, I love that you're engaging the actual evidence, and I also like that you focused on two stories that were not, I don't want to say they weren't the most popular, but in the shadow of Hemingway or the shadow of Fitzgerald, they were not as popular as they could be for the readings. Sherwood Anderson's Hands is probably one of the more specific and engaged modern short stories that is out there. I love that you have really focused this sense of the narrator and realism, but also these sense of questions, these sense of frustrations, these sense of